Ladies and gentlemen, you see, life is not a struggle between you and the world, it is a struggle between you and yourself. Every morning when you wake up, there are two of you. The one who wants to rise, to conquer, to touch the highest dimensions of life, and the other, a lazy, fearful, hesitant version that clings to comfort. The question is, which one will survive? Understand this, your weak version does not need more time, it does not need more motivation. It needs to be put to death, yes, ruthlessly. Because weakness is not an external force acting upon you, it is you. And if you entertain it long enough, it becomes your master. The problem is not that you are incapable, the problem is you keep negotiating with mediocrity. You give your weakness a voice, and soon it starts making decisions for you. Tomorrow I will start. Maybe it's not for me. Let me take it easy. This is how greatness dies, not in battle, but in small daily compromises. Look at a tree. It does not hesitate to grow to its fullest. A bird does not ask, "Should I fly today?" But the human mind, oh, it finds 1,000 ways to stay small. You must kill this hesitation, this self-doubt, not with force, not with struggle, but with clarity. The real battle is not won by pushing harder, but by seeing clearly. The moment you see how absurd your limitations are, they will drop like dead weight. Your weak version is nothing but accumulated nonsense, social conditioning, past failures, imaginary fears. The moment you stop feeding it, it will die. So do not try to fix your weak version. Do not argue with it. Simply outgrow it. Make it irrelevant. When you commit to your highest possibility with absolute intensity, your weakness will fall behind like a shadow that cannot keep up. Kill your weak version, not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Because life is happening now, and if you are not at your fullest, you are missing it. Most people go through life believing that their struggles are with the world, their circumstances, their past, their financial situation, their relationships. They blame society, their upbringing, their lack of resources, or even fate for why they are not where they wish to be. But if you truly look at it, you will see that the real battle is not out there, it is within you. The world is not stopping you, your own mind is. The obstacles you perceive in the outside world are merely reflections of the limitations you have accepted within yourself. Every morning when you wake up, there are two versions of you. The one who is ready to rise, to take on life fully, to push beyond limitations, and the other, a hesitant, fearful, lethargic version that wants to stay in comfort. The battle is between these two. The world is only a stage where this internal fight is playing out. When you look at great individuals who have achieved something remarkable, do you think their journey was easy? No, they faced hardships, but their real success came from overcoming their own inner resistance, not from defeating an external enemy. Have you noticed how the mind constantly tries to hold you back? Maybe later, maybe I'm not good enough, what if I fail? What will people say? These are not the voices of the world, these are your own thoughts. And if you give in to them, they will rule you. The problem is, most people do not recognize this internal enemy. They keep fighting the outside world, thinking that if they can change their surroundings, their life will improve. But no amount of external change will help if the real enemy is sitting inside you, controlling you. Look at history. Every great warrior, every great leader, every great visionary did not just conquer land, industries or movements. First, they conquered themselves. The reason most people never reach their potential is not because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. It is because they never win the internal war. The war against laziness, self-doubt, procrastination, and fear. When this battle is lost, no amount of external success can bring fulfillment. Because even if you win against the world, if you have lost against yourself, you have already failed. The mind is a tricky thing. It makes you believe that your fears and doubts are real, that they are protecting you. But in truth, they are just barriers keeping you from stepping into your highest possibility. Imagine if a lion started doubting whether it is meant to hunt. Imagine if a tree hesitated to grow. Absurd, isn't it? But that is exactly what happens in the human mind. Unlike animals or nature, humans have the ability to question, to hesitate, and unfortunately to cripple themselves with their own thoughts. If you truly wish to break free, the first step is to see this battle clearly, to recognize that the fight is not with society, not with your family, not with your job. It is with a part of you that resists growth. The moment you stop blaming external factors and take full responsibility for what is happening inside you, the battle is halfway won. Because now, instead of fighting shadows outside, you are fighting the real enemy. You are looking at your own limitations and deciding to break them. The world will always have challenges, obstacles, and difficult situations, but if you conquer yourself, no external situation can shake you. If you remain a slave to your own weaknesses, even the best opportunities will be wasted on you. The question is, which version of you will win today? The weak one or the one who is ready to step into life fully? Most people think weakness is something imposed on them from the outside. They believe they are weak because of circumstances, upbringing, or lack of opportunities. But understand this. Weakness is not something that happens to you, it is something you allow within yourself. It is not an external force stopping you, it is a version of you that you have nurtured, sometimes unknowingly, through habits of laziness, fear, hesitation, and self-doubt. And as long as you continue to entertain this version, it will remain a part of you. Look at your own life. How many times have you postponed what you knew needed to be done? How many times have you allowed fear to dictate your actions? How many times have you settled for less, not because you were incapable, but because you told yourself, maybe this is enough? That is not the world making you weak. That is you keeping your weak version alive. You are feeding it every time you choose comfort over growth, every time you let excuses guide your decisions. Weakness is not some mysterious curse placed upon you by fate. It is a collection of choices you have made over time. Every time you choose not to push beyond your limits, every time you choose self-pity over action, every time you hesitate to step forward, you are breathing life into your weak version. And the more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. It starts taking control of your decisions, your ambitions, and ultimately your destiny. But here's the truth, you are not stuck with this weak version. It is not an unchangeable reality. Just as you have built it, you can dismantle it, but to do so, you must stop seeing weakness as something external. If you think weakness is caused by your circumstances, you will wait for the circumstances to change. If you think it is because of other people, you will wait for them to act differently. But if you see weakness for what it truly is, an internal version of you that must be eliminated, then you will take responsibility and do what is necessary. Eliminating your weak version does not require force or struggle. It requires clarity. The moment you see that every excuse you have made was just a trick of your own mind, you can no longer believe in them. Weakness exists only because you allow it. It is like a guest who overstays their welcome. You keep offering them food and shelter and they keep staying. But the moment you decide enough, they have no choice but to leave. Your weak version operates the same way. It only stays because you keep entertaining it. Many people waste their entire lives trying to fix their weakness, thinking they need to gradually build strength before they can act. But the reality is, your weak version does not need fixing. It needs to be abandoned. Stop negotiating with it. Stop giving it attention. When you commit to action without hesitation, without waiting to feel ready, your weak version will have no place in your life. It will wither away from lack of nourishment. So the question is not whether weakness exists within you. It does, but only because you allow it. The real question is, are you willing to stop feeding it? Are you willing to let it die so that the strongest version of you can emerge? Most people do not fail in life because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunities. They fail because they keep negotiating with mediocrity. Instead of demanding the highest level of excellence from themselves, they allow compromise to creep in. It's okay if I don't give my best today. Maybe I can try harder tomorrow. This is good enough for now. These small negotiations might seem harmless, but over time they accumulate and shape your destiny. Mediocrity does not announce itself with a loud bang. It seeps into your life quietly in the form of tiny compromises. You hit the snooze button instead of waking up on time. You tell yourself you will start exercising next week. You avoid the difficult conversation that could improve your relationship. Each time you let yourself off the hook, you are strengthening the grip of mediocrity over your life. You are training yourself to accept less than your full potential. Look around, and you will see that the most successful people are not the ones who were handed the best circumstances. They are the ones who refused to negotiate with mediocrity. They did not settle for good enough when greatness was possible. They pushed themselves beyond what was comfortable, beyond what was easy. That is why they reach heights that others only dream of. The difference between those who thrive and those who struggle is not luck. It is the willingness to demand more from oneself. But most people live in constant negotiation with their weaker selves. Instead of making firm decisions, they keep postponing, adjusting, and lowering their standards. They tell themselves, it's okay to stay in this job that drains me, or I can live with this unhealthy lifestyle, or I don't really need to change. These are all deals made with mediocrity, and each deal takes a small piece of your potential away from you. Eventually, you look back and realize that you have spent years living below what you were truly capable of. You see, mediocrity is not something that attacks you from the outside. It is something you allow into your life through constant small compromises. The moment you start negotiating, you have already lost half the battle. Because once you let one excuse in, 1,000 more will follow. And before you know it, you have built a life around excuses instead of excellence. That is why the truly successful do not wait for motivation, inspiration, or the right time. They act now without hesitation because they know that hesitation is the doorway through which mediocrity enters. If you want to break free from this cycle, you must stop bargaining with yourself. You must set a standard and refuse to drop below it, no matter what. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about refusing to lower your own value. It is about knowing that every compromise you make weakens your potential. When you stop negotiating with mediocrity, you will find that excellence is not as far away as you thought. It was always within reach. You just needed to stop making deals that diminished you. So ask yourself, how many times have you let mediocrity win? How many times have you chosen the easier path instead of the one that would challenge and elevate you? Every time you negotiate with mediocrity, you are choosing a slow death of your potential. The question is, how much longer will you keep making deals that hold you back? Look at the way nature operates. A tree does not sit in confusion, wondering whether it should grow or not. A river does not hesitate before flowing. The sun does not wake up in the morning and think, should I rise today or should I take it easy? Nature simply moves toward its fullest expression without question, without hesitation. It does not debate, does not procrastinate, does not fear failure. But the human mind, oh, it is full of hesitation, full of doubt, full of unnecessary drama. And this hesitation is the greatest enemy of your growth. Have you ever observed how much time you spend thinking instead of doing? You plan, you analyze, you wait for the right moment, but the right moment never comes because hesitation keeps you trapped in a cycle of inaction. You say, let me wait until I feel ready, but readiness never arrives. You say, let me gather more confidence first. But confidence does not come from thinking, it comes from doing. This is the great deception of the mind. It convinces you that waiting is a strategy when in reality it is just a form of self-sabotage. Animals do not suffer from this problem. A lion does not sit in self-doubt, wondering if it is worthy of hunting. A bird does not hesitate before taking flight. They simply do what they are designed to do. But the human mind, which is far more capable, is also far more crippled by hesitation. Why? Because hesitation is a habit. It is not an accident. It is something you have trained yourself to do over years of avoiding discomfort. The more you hesitate, the stronger the habit becomes, until one day hesitation becomes your default response to everything. But understand this, hesitation is not protection, it is paralysis. You are not keeping yourself safe by hesitating, you are keeping yourself stagnant. Growth happens when you step into the unknown, not when you sit around thinking about it. Imagine if a child hesitated to walk because they were afraid of falling. They would never learn to walk at all. Yet, as adults, we hesitate to take action because we fear failure, rejection, or discomfort. In doing so, we rob ourselves of the very experiences that would make us stronger. Some people wait for the perfect conditions before taking action. They say, I will start my business when the economy is stable, or I will improve my health when my schedule is less busy. But nature does not wait for perfect conditions. A seed does not wait for the ideal weather before sprouting. It simply does what it is meant to do, regardless of the obstacles. And that is exactly what you must do. Because perfect conditions do not exist. If you keep waiting, you will wait forever. The only way to break free from hesitation is to act before your mind has a chance to talk you out of it. Do not give yourself the luxury of overthinking. If something needs to be done, do it now. If a decision needs to be made, make it now. Kill hesitation before it kills your potential. The more you act without hesitation, the weaker this habit becomes. Eventually you will reach a point where action becomes your default, where hesitation no longer has a grip on you, and that is when true transformation happens. So, look at your own life. How many dreams have you delayed because of hesitation? How many opportunities have passed you by while you sat in doubt? You are not stuck because of a lack of ability. You are stuck because of a habit of hesitation. And the only way forward is to break this habit, to silence the mind and to act. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Most people believe that the way to overcome self-doubt is through force. They think if they push themselves harder, if they fight against their fears with sheer willpower, they will eventually break through. But the truth is, force does not bring freedom. It only creates more struggle. What you need is not more effort, but more clarity. Clarity is like light. When you turn it on, all the imagined fears, doubts and insecurities simply dissolve. The problem is not that you are weak, the problem is that you do not see things clearly. Self-doubt is like a fog that clouds your vision. When you are unsure of yourself, everything seems difficult, uncertain and risky. You hesitate, you second guess, you hold yourself back. But the fog of self-doubt is not real. It is a creation of your own mind. The moment you gain clarity about what you truly want and what is actually stopping you, the fog disappears. You do not have to fight your doubts. You simply have to see them for what they are. Illusion. Have you ever noticed that when you are absolutely clear about something, hesitation vanishes? When you are hungry, you do not sit around doubting whether you should eat or not. When you are tired, you do not question whether you should sleep. Clarity leads to effortless action. But when you lack clarity, even the simplest decisions become a struggle. This is why people get stuck, not because they are incapable, but because they are confused. And confusion is always self-created. Most of the limitations you experience in life are not real obstacles. They are just mental barriers. You believe you are not good enough, not smart enough, not ready enough. But where did these beliefs come from? If you truly examine them, you will see that they are not based on reality, but on assumptions, past experiences, or things others have told you. If you see these limitations clearly, you will realize they have no power over you. They only exist because you believe in them. The problem with using force is that it only works temporarily. You may push through self-doubt for a while, but if you have not gained clarity, the doubt will return even stronger. This is why so many people struggle. They are constantly battling themselves instead of understanding themselves. When you see the truth of who you are, when you recognize that your limitations are self-imposed, they lose their grip on you. You no longer need to fight them because they simply fall away. This is why clarity is far more powerful than force. When you are clear, you do not need motivation, you do not need discipline. Action happens naturally because there is no longer anything blocking the way. The key is to question everything that holds you back. Ask yourself, is this fear real, or have I just believed in it for so long that it feels real? The more you question, the more clarity you gain, and with clarity comes freedom. So stop trying to fight your limitations with force. Stop trying to push through your doubts with willpower alone. Instead, focus on seeing clearly. The moment you truly see that your doubts and limitations are nothing but illusions, they will disappear on their own. You do not have to battle them. You only have to stop believing in them. Because the only thing ever holding you back is the confusion in your own mind. And when clarity comes, nothing can stand in your way. Many people think of discipline as a burden, as something that restricts their freedom and makes life rigid. They see it as a set of rules that limit their choices, making life dull and difficult. But this is a complete misunderstanding. Discipline is not a prison. It is the very thing that sets you free. Without discipline, you become a slave to your own impulses, to distractions, to laziness, and to weakness. When you lack discipline, you are not in control of your life. Your habits, emotions, and circumstances control you. Look at any successful person, an athlete, an artist, a leader, or a master of any craft. What do they all have in common? It is not just talent, luck, or intelligence. It is discipline. They do not wait for motivation to strike. They do not act only when they feel like it. They have built the ability to do what is necessary, whether it is easy or not, whether it is comfortable or not. This is why they rise above the rest. While others are trapped in cycles of procrastination and inconsistency, they move forward with absolute focus. Imagine two people. One who lives without discipline, acting only based on their moods and desires, and another who has trained themselves to stay committed to what is important. The first person may enjoy temporary pleasures, but their life will always be unstable. They will struggle with health, relationships, finances, and personal growth because they lack the ability to stay consistent. The second person, however, may experience some discomfort in the short term, but in the long run, they will achieve stability, growth, and mastery. Who is truly free? The one who does whatever they feel like, or the one who has mastered themselves? The irony is that people who avoid discipline in the name of freedom actually end up becoming prisoners of their own weaknesses. They are constantly struggling with regret, frustration, and unfulfilled potential. They cannot stick to their goals, they cannot resist temptations, and they cannot push through discomfort. This is not freedom. This is bondage. True freedom is when you have full control over yourself, when you are no longer at the mercy of your mind's tricks and temptations. Discipline does not mean you live a joyless life. In fact, it is the opposite. If you have the discipline to take care of your health, you enjoy a strong and energetic body. If you have the discipline to master a skill, you get to experience the deep joy of excellence. If you have the discipline to manage your time well, you have more freedom to do what truly matters to you. Without discipline, life is chaotic and scattered. With discipline, life becomes sharp, clear, and deeply fulfilling. The problem is, most people associate discipline with suffering. But suffering comes from resisting discipline, not from embracing it. When you force yourself to be disciplined without understanding its value, it feels like a punishment. But when you see it as a tool for your highest growth, it no longer feels restrictive, it feels empowering. When discipline is a conscious choice, it becomes effortless. It is no longer something you struggle with, it becomes a natural part of who you are. So do not think of discipline as something that limits you. Think of it as the key to your highest potential. The more disciplined you are, the more you are in control of your own life. And when you are in control, there is nothing that can stop you. The question is, do you want temporary comfort, or do you want true freedom? Because real freedom is not in doing whatever you feel like. It is in having the power to do whatever is necessary to become the best version of yourself. The biggest mistake people make is believing that their weak version is an unchangeable part of who they are. They say, I am just not disciplined, or I have always been like this, or this is just my nature. The moment you identify with your weakness, you give it power over you. You become attached to it, and anything you are attached to, you will defend, even if it is destroying you. But the truth is, weakness is not you. It is just something you have created over time. And anything you have created, you can also destroy. Look at the thoughts that go through your mind. How many times do you tell yourself, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, or this is too hard for me? These are not facts, they are just narratives you have accepted as truth. And because you believe them, you act according to them. If you keep telling yourself you are weak, how can you ever be strong? If you keep identifying with limitation, how can you ever be limitless? The first step to killing your weak version is to stop claiming it as yours. Imagine wearing a heavy jacket and complaining that it is weighing you down. But instead of taking it off, you say, "This jacket is who I am." That is exactly what people do with their weak version. They carry it everywhere, suffer because of it, and yet refuse to let it go. But the moment you realize that weakness is just something you have put on, you can also take it off. Instantly, no struggle is required, just clarity. This is why transformation does not have to take years. People spend decades trying to improve themselves, but improvement is not the real solution, detachment is. The moment you stop identifying with your past mistakes, failures and fears, you become free of them. You do not need to fix your weak version, you just need to step out of it. Like stepping out of an old skin that no longer fits you. The problem is, most people do not want to let go of their weakness. They have built an entire personality around it. If you have always been the one who hesitates, the one who doubts, the one who plays small, then shedding that version means stepping into the unknown. And the unknown is scary. This is why people cling to their weak version. It may not be pleasant, but at least it is familiar. But comfort is not worth the cost of staying weak. The price is too high. When you stop identifying with your weakness, a new version of you automatically emerges. You do not have to create strength. It is already within you. You do not have to build confidence. It is your natural state. When doubt is removed, the strong, powerful and fearless version of you is not something you have to achieve. It is something that has been buried under layers of hesitation and self-doubt. Once you remove those layers, what remains is your true self. So the real question is not, how do I become stronger, but why am I still holding on to weakness? The day you decide that weakness is not yours, it will disappear like a shadow in the light. And the moment that happens, there is no limit to what you can do, because you are no longer fighting against yourself. You are free. So my friends, the question is no longer whether you can become strong, disciplined or unstoppable. That is already within you. The question is, how much longer will you carry the weight of your weak version? How much longer will you negotiate with mediocrity, hesitate in the face of challenges, and identify with your own limitations? You must understand, there is nothing outside of you that is holding you back. No external force is keeping you small. The only prison is the one you have built in your own mind. And the key to breaking free has always been in your hands. The moment you decide that the weak version of you no longer serves you, it begins to die. It does not need a slow, painful death. It can disappear in an instant the moment you stop believing in it. The world is not waiting for your excuses. The world is not waiting for your doubts. The world is waiting for the real you. The one who does not hesitate, does not shrink, does not settle. The one who acts with clarity, who moves with purpose, and who refuses to live as anything less than their highest self. So today, right now, make a decision. No more postponing, no more waiting for motivation, no more negotiating with your weaknesses. Kill your weak version before it kills your potential. And when you do, you will not have to search for success, fulfillment or greatness. They will come to you naturally because you will finally be in alignment with the best version of yourself. The time is now. There is nothing more to discuss. Step out of weakness and step into your power. Because the world does not need another hesitant, half-lived life. The world needs you, fully alive, fully awake, and completely unstoppable.